before I actually get into these coaching candidates, I just want everyone watching this video to repeat after me. We are not getting Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney is not going to leave Clemson. Dabo Swinney is not a realistic coaching option for the Houston Texans. Mr. Mediocre / Sticky has a long schlong. Now that we got that out of the way, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Click the notification bell so you don't miss another video or live stream. And let me just say this before I get into these candidates. Now, I'm not sure if the Texans will get rid of Bill Ryan. I mean, I think they should. And I do think that if the Texans do not have a successful season, and by successful season, I mean reaching the AFC Championship game, I do believe there's a very good chance that Bill O'Brien will be fired. So, I decided, alright, let's look around and, look at the coaching candidates, potential future Texans coaches. I came up with 8. Out of the 8, one of them I'm not too sure about. 2 of them, they're a little bit unrealistic but could happen depending how the season plays out. And the other 5, really good. And one of them is straight up amazing. Now, I'm going to start off from the bottom of my list. At 8, I have Arthur Smith, offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. Now, obviously, when the season started, the Tennessee Titans offense was completely abysmal. Marcus Mariota was trash. And they put in Ryan Tannehill. And even though Tannehill didn't do anything in the playoffs and he was a scrub, during the regular season, he actually had a pretty nice little run. And if this guy was able to make Ryan Tannehill, somewhat competent, then imagine what he could do with Deshaun. And now the reason why Arthur Smith is in the bottom, he's only really coached for 1 year as an OC. I want to see more of him. I want to see what he does next year when teams start to adjust to the whole Derrick Henry heavy offense. And that's something else I'm kind of worried about with him. His offense is so reliant on Derrick Henry. What happens if you take Derrick Henry away? Is his offense still going to be able to produce? I don't know. I mean, personally, I really don't think so. But that's why we can, take next season and see what they do. See what the Titans do. See what they do on offense. And keep in mind, this guy is completely running the show because Mike Vrabel, he doesn't call plays on offense. He don't even get involved on offense. So it's his show in Tennessee. It's his offense. And actually, if you're wondering whose offense he runs, whose system, he pretty much runs the Sean McVay offense. The same stuff that Sean McVay is doing over there. He's pretty much using the same concepts because he decided to keep the system that Matt LaFleur, who, by the way, coached under Sean McVay and then went to go be Tennessee's OC for a year before going and getting a head coaching job in Green Bay. So if you're curious what kind of system he runs, it's going to be similar to Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur up in Green Bay. So, yeah. Okay, at number 7 and at number 6, I'm going to put these two together because those are the two unrealistic ones that I said earlier, but can still happen. And that is Sean McVay himself and Bruce Arians. Now, obviously, they're currently employed as a head coach. But if the Buccaneers and Rams suck this year, I think there's a chance that either of them gets fired. So, if you want Sean McVay or Bruce Arians, then you better root against the Rams and Bucs. Because, who wouldn't want Sean McVay or Bruce Arians? Sean McVay's Rams didn't really have a good season last year, but you're upgrading from Jared Goff to Deshaun Watson, that's a huge upgrade. Sean McVay carried well, Sean McVay and Wade Phillips carried Jared Goff to a Super Bowl appearance. Deshaun Watson and Sean McVay would do wonders. And then Bruce Arians, he turned Carson Palmer into an MVP candidate and took the Cardinals all the way to, I think it was an NFC Championship game. So, Bruce Arians with Deshaun Watson, Sean McVay with Deshaun Watson, that'd be so dangerous. But I'm not really going to get into these two guys because, I mean, these guys are really well-known coaches, so pretty sure you guys know about them. Now, the next guy, I got Matt Eberflus, defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, why do I think this guy is a good coaching candidate? Look at the Colts roster for the past 2 years on defense. Trash. Literally trash besides Darius Leonard. Everyone on that defense isn't good. But the Colts defense hasn't been bad. Like, on paper, that defense is probably the worst in the NFL, or, at least bottom 5 in the NFL. But they still perform very, very well. I mean, I think in 2018, they were even like a top 10 unit. So, the fact that this guy is able to get great production out of no-name players, trash players almost even. And you also got to consider, this is the dude that always gives Deshaun Watson fits. Always. I mean, every single game that the Texans have played the Colts, besides maybe the Week 4 game last year in 2018, or 2 years ago in 2018, besides that game, Deshaun has always struggled against Indianapolis in some way, shape, or form. This guy, he's a defensive mastermind, and I think he deserves a chance to be a head coach. I'm honestly shocked that he's not a coach yet, and honestly also disappointed that he's not a head coach yet, because I want him out of Indianapolis, because if Matt Eberflus leaves Indianapolis, Deshaun Watson's going to drop 50 on their head twice a year. I think this guy makes that big of a difference. And, if he comes to Houston, obviously you'll have his system here. You'll have a bunch of young, talented players to work with. Zach Cunningham, Charles Omenihu, Jacob Martin, Duke Ejiofor. And then you've also got, Jay Reed up there. And you got some vets too, like JJ, Whitney, B-Mac. So he'd have a lot to work with here. Obviously, he wouldn't just be DC, but I'm pretty sure he'd be heavily involved with the defense. And then he'd bring in his own coaching staff. But see, this is where my issue lies with someone like Matt, or the next guy I have on the list. If we get a defensive-minded coach as our head coach, with how good Deshaun Watson is, with how amazing and beautiful he is, other teams are going to keep poaching away his offensive coordinators like every other year. And I'm not sure that's really something I want to put Deshaun Watson through. This year we have this OC. Oh no, this other team stole our OC. Let's go bring in this other guy. Oh, Deshaun Watson did great again next year. Let's go steal that other OC. Like, that would be very annoying. So, that's like my only issue with hiring a defensive-minded head coach. Now, the next guy I have is Robert Sala, defensive coordinator for the 49ers. You guys know this guy, bald man, always screaming and shouting on the 49ers sideline when the defense makes a play. Don't act like you don't know who that is. Like, you know who it is. I think he's a great coaching candidate. I think he's a player's coach. I think players love playing for him. He has a bunch of energy, you can clearly tell. And, he built a great defense in San Francisco. Obviously that D-line is crazy good, but besides the D-line, everything else is, kind of like, yeah, you got Fred Warner, but other than that, what else? You might say Richard Sherman, but I mean, we saw what happened to Richard Sherman in the Super Bowl. The dude's not exactly the old Sherman, but yeah, I think this guy can coach a great defense. I think he brings a bunch of energy to the team, and I think players will really rally around him and want to play for him because of his attitude. And now for the last two. I got Byron Leftwich at number 3. Byron Leftwich is currently the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers. So if we can't get Bruce Arians, let's go get Byron Leftwich. And apparently, according to Bruce Arians, Byron Leftwich is a genius, and Bruce Arians thinks that Byron Leftwich can be a coach in the NFL and be a very good coach in the NFL. Now, what system would he run? Well, I'm assuming he'd do the same things that Bruce Arians likes to do, and that's a vertical passing game. And if you look at the Texans roster, well, Will Fuller, he's got blazing speed. He can get down the field immediately. Kenny Stills, not as fast as Fuller, but he can get down the field pretty quick. Kiki QT, Randall Cobb, they can all get down the field quick. Kahali Waring, really athletic tight end that we have, who was a rookie last year but didn't play. He was IR stashed. He can get down the field pretty quickly. We have the personnel to run a vertical passing game. And I believe Deshaun Watson can succeed in any system. So, yeah, I think a vertical passing game with the personnel we currently have on the team, I think could work. But this guy is also 39 years old, so he can also be bringing in like all sorts of different things, like some Sean McVay things. So I don't think Byron Leftwich would be a guy that would just simply just take everything that Bruce Arians does and that's it. I think he'll be stealing some things from other teams. I think he's that kind of a guy. And now, at number 2, I got Eric Bieniemy, offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. And you guys know him. I mean, this is like the candidate. Eric Bieniemy probably should have a job right now as a head coach, but for reasons he doesn't. Bieniemy, though, would run a system similar to Andy Reid's. And if you look at Patrick Mahomes, he's a good player, don't get me wrong, but he ain't Watson, dude. Watson actually has to go through his reads and stuff. Patrick Mahomes has dudes running wide open, and his dudes are schemed open and stuff, and he just throws to the first read, and then if the first read isn't open, he dumps it down to Travis Kelce or his running back, and they have a 10-yard catch and run. Imagine that system with Deshaun Watson, making life easy for Deshaun Watson. O'Brien already showed Deshaun Watson how to be a pocket quarterback. Deshaun Watson, we already know he can move out of the pocket, but now he has improved as a pocket passer as well. So Bieniemy could literally do anything with Deshaun Watson. Have him throw from inside the pocket, have him do play action rollouts, have him do design quarterback runs. I mean, Deshaun's more athletic than Patrick Mahomes. So the possibilities with what we could do with Deshaun Watson, with Eric Bieniemy, a guy running the Andy Reid system down here in Houston, would be endless. We could put up 40 points a game type of stuff. I mean, obviously, with these coaches, the Eric Bieniemy, Byron Leftwich, Robert Sala, Matt Eberflus, Arthur Smith, with those guys, you're taking risks because none of these guys have been head coaches. And just because a guy is a good coordinator doesn't mean he's going to be a good head coach. For example, look at Romeo Crennel, legendary defensive coordinator in his prime, but as a head coach, complete trash. Wade Phillips, legendary defensive coordinator as a head coach, trash. Gary Kubiak, really good offensive coordinator as a head coach, trash. And then you got the opposite too, Mike Vrabel, terrible defensive coordinator. And as a head coach, he's actually doing a pretty decent job. So, yeah, like, you're taking a risk, but sometimes in the NFL, you have to take risks. For example, look at the Rams. Everybody clowned them when they picked up Sean McVay. They're like, ha ha, that dude's too young. Well, how many teams wouldn't want Sean McVay now, you know? Okay, now for the last one, number one head coaching candidate in my opinion, and this guy is a must-have. If we can get this guy, the Houston Texans will be in great shape. And that is none other than Billy Baker. Now, Billy Baker, dude, is a player's coach. The players absolutely love him. They would do anything for Billy Baker. And honestly, Billy Baker loves his players too. He would literally do anything for his players. And as far as accolades go, I mean, his track record speaks for itself. Like, the dude has won multiple championships. The dude is a proven winner. Like, he can turn a program around immediately. Not only that, Billy Baker also has NFL playing experience. So he's played in the NFL before, so he knows how the game is actually played. Like, he's played in it. If it wasn't for a devastating knee injury, who knows how Billy Baker's career would have ended. And not only that, Billy Baker is really family oriented, so he cares about family. And, you know, what else could you want? What else could you want? I mean, the dude is just an amazing coaching candidate, and if the Houston Texans were able to land Billy Baker, they'd win a Super Bowl like in a year or two. Billy Baker should be the Texans' next head coach. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.